Good morning, Pippadot, Kitty. Welcome to page two news crime recap show. I hope you both had a wonderful week. Good morning. Good morning, Francie. Good morning, Francie. Welcome to this morning's page two news weekly crime recap show. I hope you had a wonderful week. Okay. Ooh, we have snow in the forecast for next Thursday. I just got a weather warning on the bottom of my thing. Good morning, Callie Lisa, Interpeas. Good morning and welcome to this morning's page two news weekly crime recap show. I hope you both had a wonderful week. We'll give it a couple more minutes here and then we'll get things going. Been a heck of a week. Tragedies everywhere because we had the plane and the helicopter crash on over the Potomac River in D.C. And then last night we had a commuter airliner. I'm not sure if it was a jet or propeller portion, forward jet plane that crashed into a house. Didn't see where that was. I think it might have been in Philadelphia. Could have been Boston. It's supposed to be almost 70 there Tuesday. I could use some of that. It is 36 degrees here. I think the high today is supposed to get to 45, but I'll take 45 for now. But I don't know if you saw my community post. I tried to upload a video and it keeps on getting flagged by YouTube. It's on serial killers. Yeah, something that I've posted a million times before, but it kept on getting flagged and it kept on telling me I get this message. It says processing abandoned. This video could not be processed. So it uploads it, and then when it's supposed to, change it so I can actually, have it there on YouTube, it won't do it. And I changed the name of it multiple times, and to see if that's what it was flagging it. And I finally titled it Midgets, and it finally uploaded and took it as Midgets. But there's something that has to do with the title, and of the content. It's like, really? They don't like the serial killer in the name, I guess. But I'm probably going to do it this week sometime as a live stream. I don't know when. I'm just going to, whenever I have the time available, I'm just going to go live and I'm going to do the entire thing as a live stream. So look forward to that sometime this week. I don't know what day it would be. It could be Monday, it could be Thursday, it could be whenever. All depends on my schedule and when it becomes available. All right, but let's get this morning's page two news going. This is the 241st episode of the morning show on Saturdays. Obviously, not all 240 of them were called Page 2 News. Before that, it was called Coffee Brew. Update on the Amber Alert for Chandler Baker, age 3. Chandler Baker has been found. The mother, the biological mother there, who was not supposed to have any, physical contact with Chandler Baker, age 3, has been apprehended. The update is the child identified as Chandler Baker was found safely this past Thursday. News release from the U.S. Marshals Lone Fugitive Task Force states Samantha Castenda, age 38, fled her home with Baker and refused contact with law enforcement and special investigators. The release states it does not go into much more than that. The news affiliates that have reported more than that, I have no idea where they're getting that from, because there was no actual physical confrontation. You see the fugitive task force in the video pull up to the house. They surround the home where she was at and hiding, and they went to the door. She went, and someone opened the front door. They handcuffed her. Not even a couple of minutes later, she walked out, and they got Chandler Baker back. But she does not have physical custody or visitation rights. That she was being allowed to have visitation with a supervisor from Child Protective Services. I don't know why exactly she lost custody, physical and any type of custody other than that. But I mean, that's something I would have to dig into, the actual story behind it all. But the news that's important is Chandler Baker, who's age 3, has been recovered, and he is now back where he belongs with his father and his stepmother. So that's good news. All right, Page 2 News highlights true crime stories that are often overlooked and underreported by mainstream media. These cases are lacking sensational headlines, carry significant importance and profound impacts in their communities. Each story featured on Page 2 News is supported by at least 3 verified sources, ensuring the most accurate and reliable information. Thank you for joining us today for this edition of Page 2 News. And good morning, Kathy. All right, check out the new and improved condensed version of Page 2 News, where the links are right on with the story, so you don't have to search anywhere else for them. Our first story is Wanted Felon. Take a good look at the photo of this man. His name is John Matthew Nye, age 37. He's a white male. He is wanted for escape and murder charges and weapon charges. That if you know where he may be or know anything that might be important that can help law enforcement, apprehend him, John Matthew Nye, you can call 252-633-2357. With that tip line, it is directly to the sheriff's department where he is wanted out of. You cannot remain anonymous if you know anything. They will need to take your information at this point. So if you call, otherwise you can just dial 911 and say you know where this man is or you know something about it. But again, they're going to track your number because there are people out there who are assisting him in his escape. All right. Bob Robert Mendez, former senator from New Jersey, was sentenced to 11 years in federal time. Was so brazen in what he did, he ran out of places to stash the cash and gold bars that he got for fixing contracts and services. I'm not joking when I say that he got so lazy. He didn't, he was getting these gold bars, and cash and stuff for, awarding, different, contracts and stuff, and making one vendor, get the contract over another. He didn't know what to do with it. And on his computer, before they actually arrested him, they found on his computer how to, hide gold bars and stuff like that he had been searching for online. But he'll do the next 11 years in federal penitentiary, and they've seized his home, his and his wife's home. They've seized all the gold bars and cash and everything else because it is proceeds from illegal activity. But Bob Robert Mendez will now go to a nice cushy federal penitentiary for the next 11 years. In case you're wondering, there is no early release in the federal system. He will do all of the 11 years. He will not get any good time discharges. He will not be released for any other reason. Even if he's on his deathbed, they will release him to a more nicer, maybe hospital prison, but they're not going to let you go in the federal system. So good luck to you, Robert Mendez. Not safe anywhere. We had another grocery store shooting, this time in Indiana. 2 are dead and several others were injured. Juan Sanchez, age 54, opened fire in the supermarket and was later, shot and killed by law enforcement when they came into the supermarket. Excuse me. Of the 2 dead, one was an employee of the supermarket and one was a customer. At this time, no one knows who was the actual target, if it was the employee or the customer. A lot of people are speculating that the customer, who I believe they've now released the name of, it was the target. But at this point, we're not sure, because the same day, there may have been a confrontation with a customer in the supermarket, and it may have been Juan Sanchez earlier in the day who was involved in that altercation with an employee. So at this point, people are throwing things against the wall and just hoping to see what sticks. And if they're wrong and it wasn't the employee and it was the actual customer that was the target, or maybe it had been somebody else who didn't even get shot, who was able to run away. If that's what turns out to be, they won't print a retraction or tell you otherwise. They'll just change the story, and then you can go ahead and find the information, because that's how the world works these days. Why admit to when you're wrong? Trouble ahead, trouble behind. That notion just crossed my mind. Cocaine and flying high. A woman was arrested at Chicago O'Hare's airport when it was discovered that she had 14 kilos. 14 kilos, ladies and gentlemen. That's not like, personal use amount of kilos, what shit, a kilo of cocaine. Was discovered in her electric scooter. 14 kilos. That is a hellacious amount of cocaine. Well, at the time, this lady who was using the electric scooter was also high on cocaine. So trouble ahead, trouble behind. That notion just crossed my mind. High on cocaine, flying on an airplane, not a train, a plane. But you can click on the story and read it out of the WGN TV station out of Chicago about the lady who was arrested. I don't know how she's going to, possibly get away with this one or get some kind of reduction in the sentence, because she was sitting on the cocaine in the scooter itself. Go straight to hell. Do not collect your $200 for going past go. Timothy Durso, age 25, a YouTuber and TikTok creator, has been arrested after he made a viral video using his baby to clean snow off of his car. I'm going to give you a little visual. If you do not want to hear this, please turn off the volume or put your fingers in your ears. It had snowed the morning before this event happened. He set up his camera on a tripod, grabbed his baby, not even a toddler, and was holding it by the chest and by the clothing on the chest, and used it to wipe snow off of his front windshield and side windows of his car. His own child. Okay? Picture that. You can go to the Indiana Today newspaper and read about it more if you wish to. But this video went viral, and when I say viral, he had over 2 million views. And of the 2 million views, not counting the ones on Reddit, because on Reddit, when it went viral there, he had over 896,000 upvotes. People thought it was hilarious that he was using a baby to wipe snow off of his car. And no, the baby wasn't in a little snowsuit. It was wearing like a onesie and with booties on, no coat at all. And he used it to wipe the snow off his car. That's the world we live in. See, I can spend 30 days working on a video and I'll get maybe a couple thousand views. This man will abuse his child and get millions of views and hundreds of thousands of people who will like that because they think it's funny as shit. That's what's wrong with this world. I mean, take me out of the equation. Why he thought it was a good idea? Because anything for talent, anything for views, that's what the game is. I shot the sheriff, but I did not shoot the deputy. Out of New York State, a New York State trooper has turned himself in for faking his injuries, saying he was shot by an assailant when he actually shot himself, staging the entire event. He staged it to get sympathy, and he did collect quite a good sum of money through GoFundMe and another, a benevolent officers fund. But the individual, you probably can't see the picture too well, but you can click on the link there and learn who he actually is. But they were able to finally prove that he wasn't shot by somebody else. He shot himself with his own service revolver and then reloaded it. So when they checked it, it actually had all of the bullets in it. Well, it turned out that later on he admitted that he staged the entire thing for sympathy and for money and for people, he wanted people to pay attention to him. This was a New York State trooper. What? He shot himself? Yes. But he's now going to be, prosecuted for his crime, of defrauding, not only the state, his, union, and those who gave to his, interstate commerce, because it's GoFundMe it's on the internet, it's international and across the state lines. All right, serial killer corner. You will die to get away. News from around the world regarding the investigation into serial killings. Sharon Keene. Do you know that name? If you don't, you should definitely look it up. Female serial killer. The case has now been closed. After 65 years after her first arrest, the manhunt is over after law enforcement has been able to confirm that Keene is in fact dead. She was arrested. She killed at least 6 people in America, and she may have killed at least 10 more in Mexico. But she has been officially, the case has now officially been closed, and they will not be looking for her anymore. In fact, if it wasn't for a tip that was given to the FBI, they got the first one, then the U.S. Marshals who were looking for her. If it wasn't for a tip that they got in 2023, they never would have known where she was. They believed that she was out there somewhere, but they didn't know where. The tip that they got in 2023, out of the blue, was somebody who tipped them off that Sharon had actually died 3 years prior, and that they knew that she was where she was at this entire time. And that's all the tip is. It was an anonymous tip, so they don't know who it was that actually gave the tip up. But it was left on a form where you can type in text-wise, and it's not traced. But they now know that she is dead. and she'd been dead for a while. But again, look it up. You're in Junction, Texas this morning. Good morning, Reichart. I read one of the most depressing articles about the trucking industry yesterday. 88,000 different trucking companies have gone out of business since 2023. 88,000 of them. And of the 88,000, an additional 8,000 different truck forwarding companies and brokers have gone out of business. They call it the trucking apocalypse, is what the article is actually titled. You might be able to find it online. But it was the later in the article, it went into talk about two more national trucking companies that have filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection, and two additional smaller what they call mid travel, or point to point delivery trucking companies that are also currently in the process of filing either Chapter 11 or Chapter 13. It does not sound good. Again, they called it the trucking apocalypse. And good morning, K-Love. All right. Harmless self-promotion, since I don't have any affiliate links to push and I don't have any products to lie to you about. Why not just make a donation directly to the, help support the channel? The price of diesel went up again. I am truly sorry about that, because that definitely cuts into your ability to actually make, deliveries and stay in the business with razor, thin, margins the way it is now. Feel for you, buddy. Feel for you. All right, entertainment news. The news stories from music, movies, books, and more that the stars wish didn't happen. And they also wish we would also forget. Their oops moments that for everyone to enjoy. First one is Sam Hunt, the country western singer, will not be charged with his latest run-in with the law. His latest brush with the law was over paperwork error from 2017 after he was arrested for DUI. Turns out that the state forgot to clear up the issue, but it has now been resolved through his attorneys. But he was arrested again and then quickly bonded out. But they've now given back his bond, and they are not going to file and prosecute him for additional things. So let me tell you about the 2017 incidents. In 2017, Sam Hunt, along with his friends, went out on the town, drinking, and they had dinner, and then they went to a couple of different bars afterwards. And additionally, Sam did not drive that night. He took an Uber along with his friends back to a buddy's house where he slept off the alcohol. The next morning, when he got up, he was a little bit groggy still. And this is according to the actual statement by the law enforcement officer, who said he was groggy and unsteady on his feet. And he noticed that he had glassy eyes and was unable to perform most of the tasks on a DUI stop. What caught the officer's attention was Sam Hunt had gotten back behind the vehicle. This is about 8 hours later, after he had gone out with friends. He slept it off, like I said, and then was still basically buzzed at that time in the morning, 8 hours later. I don't know how much he drank, but he had to be a lot, because he tested at a 1.3. 0.13 is what his alcohol concentration was. But anyways, what caught the officer's attention was that there is a small part of town. It's about a block long in total length. Sam Hunt went down the road the wrong direction. There was no one else on the road, but he went the wrong direction on a road. And the officer pulled him over, and that's how he was arrested. Back in 2017, he lost his driver's license for 1 year, had to pay a court fine in restitution, attend an alcohol awareness class, and do other things on top of that to satisfy the court. And one of the stipulations was he had to have a alcohol blood analyzer put in his car, where it will not start the car until you blow into it, and he did that. but the court forgot to file the paperwork that he actually had this done. And say, oh, look, here, we had it all along, but we just never put it into the computer system. They had the actual paperwork itself. So all this time since 2017, if he ever would have gotten stopped again, they would have arrested him because of this, because they issued a warrant for his arrest back then, for not complying with the court order to have a breathalyzer put in his car. Well, he did have it done, and they had the paperwork. They just forgot to put it in the computer system. So this time, when they stopped him, they said, "Oh, we got a warrant for you. We got to hook you up and take you in." So they did, and now we know that he will not face any additional charges. And within an hour's time frame, they were able to clear up the entire thing. Sam Hunt has released 2 statements, one through his X, I want to say Twitter, but X account, and he also released one through his attorney about how he doesn't glorify alcohol, and that he took responsibility for his actions. He knows now what he never should have done, and so on. All right, next, Tom Wellington, the star from Smallville, the TV show. Here we go, another DUI. In an incredibly dumb move, the actor was out on the town drinking and being followed by, you guessed it, TMZ, when he decided to get behind the wheel of his car. Yes, you in the video that TMZ shared on their site, you can probably find it, just by putting Tom Wellington into TMZ's search box. You can see the man is unstable on his feet and then gets into his car and drives off. And of course, the paparazzi with TMZ immediately called the police, and then followed the police to where he was actually stopped. And then, of course, bust out the cameras. We got to watch this entire, thing, because that's more news for TMZ. But at that night, when he got behind the wheel of the car and got arrested for his DUI, an Uber was actually on its way, and he wasn't supposed to drive. And his friends had already told him, "Don't drive. You've had enough to drink. The Uber is on its way." He went outside, saw the TMZ was there, walked to his car to maybe get away from them, because he didn't want to be on TMZ, and then got in his car and drove off. And they got arrested. So good luck with that, Tom Welling. Fake or real news. Here we are again. Your job is to spot the real news story. I will present you with 3 stories. Only one of them is real. Answer A, B, or C. Which one is the real story? Story A. Stick to your New Year's resolution never got easier. Some Dunkin' Donuts are out of donuts or have the ability to make them after a flour shortage. You can still get a steaming cup of Joe, though. Joe is coffee, in case you don't know what that reference is. Cup of Joe, which is coffee. You can still get your coffee, but you can't get a donut because they don't have any flour to make donuts. Is this the real story, or is this the fake story? Again, we're only looking for which one is the real story. Story A, B, or C. Here is story B. You can't run on tea. Starbucks will stop selling coffee at several locations across the western U.S. on February 3rd, 2025, and only sell breakfast sandwiches and cold tea, citing issues with unions over hot beverages. Is this the real story, or is this one a fake story? Story number 3. Horton hears a who. Didn't you hear about this one, though? 8 Horton's coffee shops in Canada were busted for selling Folgers coffee in place of Horton's branded coffee, while managers pocketed the difference. Which one of these stories is real? Story A, no flour to make donuts. Story B, they're not going to be selling coffee at all at certain Starbucks, and only tea, cold tea and donuts and breakfast sandwiches, I guess. Or story C, that managers in Canada were caught using Folgers coffee in place of Hortons, while managers pocketed the difference between the price of a cup of coffee that made with Folgers over Hortons. I'll give you a couple minutes to think about which one is real, but keep in mind all of these stories have been shared a minimum of 100,000 times and have a minimum of 10,000 likes or upvotes. Upvotes come from Reddit. So these stories are shared widely on different platforms. They're not just on one platform, but they might be shared on 6 or 7 different platforms. And that's what the 100,000 total comes in place, plus 10,000 likes. So which one is real? A, B, or C? Vote early and often. I drink only Black Rifle Coffee Company. That's all the coffee I get. I get it delivered to my door every single month. And whenever I run out, I can get it in my local supermarket. But Black Rifle Coffee Company. Veteran owned, veteran supported coffee company. Rackard's going with 144,000. All right. Which one of the stories is real? Story A, B, or C? The real story is story number 1. There's the link to the Associated Press article. This is taking place in Nebraska and in surrounding areas outside of Nebraska. They are unable to make donuts because they do not have flour. The bulk flour company that sells donuts to Dunkin' Donuts to make the donuts has had an issue where first they found metal shavings in the flour, and they stopped production because they believe the metal shavings were caused from a gear. So that caused a shortage, a slowdown of production of flour in the first place. Then when they started ramping up, people started like panicking and saying, well, shit, if this can happen, we better order more flour than we normally do. So maybe like a store location would get 10 bags. I mean, we're talking 50-pound bags of flour here. Maybe they got 10 of those before. Well, when there was a shortage and people panicked, they started ordering double, triple the amount of flour that they normally would go through in a given month. So that left certain Dunkin' Donuts with no flour at all. So then they started borrowing from other stores. Well, you have flour. Let us have a couple bags of flour. Here's the money for it, blah, 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 down the line. And when that didn't work, then they started hitting up supermarkets and other places and warehouse stores where they could buy flour in bulk. Well, that changes the price point of what they can sell a donut at and what their profitability is. So now they're stuck between a rock and a hard place where there is no flour and they're unable to make any donuts. This first happened back in January, beginning of January, and then the second wave of no flour or very little flour for certain locations came up again just a week ago. So this has happened twice. The first time was when the factory shut down because they found an issue with the flour because they found metal shavings in it. That was in January. And then the second one is just a week ago because they don't have any flour because everybody's panicked and they ordered more. And good morning, Gayla. 11 news stories in half the time that I used to take to cover 11 stories. I hope you were entertained. Sunday night's trivia again is psychopathic killer Pee Wee Gaskin. Henry Donald Gaskin is our trivia subject for this week, tomorrow, Sunday. And you will notice also that it being the first trivia night in the month of February, you will notice certain features in things, the way things look. I'm not changing the trivia night, much. It's just aesthetics of the trivia night to make it look better on all different devices, TV, mobile, cell phone. I have to think about all three of them and how it displays. So, and that is it for the Saturday morning. I hope that you were entertained by it. Because Will said Duncan wants to help you keep your New Year's resolution. I thought, no way, fake. Dunkin' Donuts didn't say that. I said that. I said, talk about a good way to keep your New Year's resolution. That wasn't a statement from Duncan, just like all the others. I add the title to it. But I can see where you took that as a statement from Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkin' and Winchell's and other places are not going to worry about our waistlines. That's up to us. They've got the product, and we have to say no. You can't eat 2 dozen donuts today. Maybe only one. Black screen. You have a black screen right now. Wow, Pee Wee Gaskin was also a killer. I knew that he was a creep and a pervert. Yeah. Oh yeah, he was. Let's see. I'm trying to see if I can find out when he was first arrested. I think his first arrest or running with the law was, he was a child, because I know he was eventually sent to reform school, and then he ran away from the reform school. But that probably is on the trivia tomorrow. I finished up the trivia like a week ago, so I mean it's not like right here in my memory, as if I just did it. Out of the Shadows with Ginger. Good morning. I'm still new here, but I really enjoy the content. Well, thank you, Ginger. I appreciate it. Are we going to use a different screen? No. Well, I mean, you'll see a different background. This behind me right now, everything is a giant mess. I don't know if you can see it or focus on it, but there's another table right there, and a lamp. I mean, all that stuff that's right there is normally over here, and I'm pointing to my left. But normally that stuff is over here. But I was using it to shoot, another video in the background for green screen. You don't have to have a green screen to do videos where you put other things in the background. It can be a solid gray, it can be black, it can be green, blue, but you can't wear those colors because then it shows like, missing parts of you. That's where if you watch like the evening news, you'll never see anybody who is doing the weather forecast or sports, wearing a green tie. Or if they do, it's green where the color chrome is different for the background. So yeah, I hope Ginger can make it to trivia night tomorrow too. It's at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 o'clock Mountain, or 7 o'clock on the Eastern time zone. But 4 p.m. Pacific, 5 Mountain, 7 o'clock in the Eastern time zone. Learn about Pee Wee Gaskin. He's a strange one. That's for damn sure. Pervert. He was a sexual sadist. I could definitely say that because I don't think I have any questions about that on there. But by tomorrow, I'll get all this cleaned, all this up, and camera will be facing with this stuff on my normal background. It's just right now everything in here. I mean, if you guys could see this table, I'm at here is covered in notes and little scraps of paper because I write everything down as I find them on little scraps of paper, and then I transfer them into. I write out long notes like that on questions, and then I print them out. That's just my system. That's just how I work. I think of a question, I write it down, and then I go and I do the research. And as I find the answers to the questions, and then it goes along through the process. But normally, like for Pee Wee Gaskin for like trivia, I come up with 30, 40 questions for it, and then I pick out like the best 20 or 20 I think that people will be able to answer. I mean, I could definitely make it a lot harder. Like, what was Pee Wee Gaskin's favorite brand of shoes, and why were they his favorite shoes? They were Red Wing boots were his favorite, by the way, and he used them because they didn't leave a deep pattern in crime scenes. Yeah. Will, and your notebooks. Oh boy, do I have a lot of notebooks. 3-ring binders too. I'm off to work, so I'll be here. I'm off work, says Caleb. Good. I have a bunch of them that were my dad's. Want to make a blanket out of them. What, t-shirts? I like the Super Bowl for the food and for the commercials, says Francie. I don't know if I'll be watching the Super Bowl. I have, I would like to see the Philadelphia Eagles win, but I have a, suspicion that the, Kansas City Chiefs are going to win. So the Super Bowl is another one of those nights where and days where I don't go out on the streets because I don't trust other people on the roadway, especially after the game ends and the people like start, piling out of the bars and everything else. Nope. Flannel shirts will. Your dad wore them every day. Well, that's cool. I wear them just about every day of myself. My wife gets these from, I can't remember what is it. I could take it off and look at the tag, but damn it, drawing a blank on the name of the company. Oh well. You put so much effort into researching the content. I appreciate that most creators just hijack other people's stuff and don't fact check like you do. Well, thank you very much, Ginger. And yes, I do, because I would like to know that as I lay my head down on my pillow at night that I've done my due diligence. And you're right. There are a lot of people out there that don't do any research at all, and they will straight steal content from others. And I have quite a few people on a weekly basis that do steal the content from me, and then call it their own without ever giving credit for what they've taken from me. And what they do is, and I already know how they do it. They can make out a script for a video just by hitting closed caption, and then once you hit closed caption, you can get a print. You can then copy and paste the entire thing from closed caption and then print it out. So, but that's the world we live in, though. There is no new ideas out there, and there is no new content. Well, why work at it when you can steal it a lot faster? That's the truth. I'm not hurt about it. They say that it it's a way of flattery. My brother wears them every day too, no matter what the weather is like. Yep, next Super Bowl is in San Francisco, so I hope the 49ers are playing in it. However, I actually don't follow football. I follow football during the actual season, and that's only because I run fantasy football leagues. I'm the commissioner of, usually 2 or 3 different fantasy football leagues. It's basically a management position. I could care less if I win or lose, in the games. Yeah, sure, it's always nice to win, but it's something that for my friends who are diehard, and they live and breathe and die, on the hill of football. I'm certainly not that way. I'd be that way about golf, but not about football. But I run the leagues. I collect the money from them, and then set the rules, and then they play the game. My wife calls fantasy football D&D for jocks. I have to get ready to go shopping. Thank you, Will and mods and chat. I see you all tomorrow for trivia. Stay safe, everyone. You as well, Kitty Coo, and thank you for being here. Overpaid athletes wearing spandex. Who is in this year's Super Bowl? It's the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. A repeat of a couple of years ago. But you're right. Out of the shadow with Ginger, old school research. Yeah, and it's amazing. It's not that hard. I mean, I've shown quite a few people how to actually set up and start their own YouTube channels, and go about doing it and where to get the information. But in these politicians out there, they're making it harder and harder for some people who want to do the research to even exist. Same 2 teams were in it this year who were in it in 2023. Yes, correct, Callie Lisa. Repeat of just a couple years ago. And Kansas City is trying to set the historical mark. No football team in the history of the NFL or in the AFL or any other organized league of football has ever three-peated, won 3 Super Bowls or 3 of the championships back to back to back. So if they win, they'll be the first team ever to have done it. So, Caleb, you like the Chiefs. Who won the Super Bowl a couple of years ago? Kansas City did. Kansas City has won the last 2 Super Bowls. If they win this one, they will set a new mark in the history books as the only team to ever win 3 Super Bowls in a row. No one's ever done it. I know that much. I mean, not even the dominating, Green Bay Packers from back in the day, with Vince Lombardi. They didn't even win 3 in a row. A couple in a row, but not 3. Good morning, lemon pie. Yeah, you want to talk about expensive tickets? Yeah, I just saw what some of the what we call nosebleed seats. I mean, you're all the way up the top part of the actual stadium itself, looking down at a bunch of ants basically on the field. But what those tickets were going for, $1,800 for one ticket. That was the cheap seats. And they're going to get more and more expensive the closer it gets to the actual day itself. Some of those tickets down in the lower part, are going for $10,000 to $25,000 per ticket. That's insane. Who's got money like that? You watch it at home. Only professional football game I have attended was a Chiefs game, and it was a blast. That's cool. I was probably, I would say, 4 or 5 years old. The first time my dad took me to go see the Green Bay Packers. And we used to go to see the Packer games at least once a year. We were season ticket holders, and then my dad died when I was 10. And then the season tickets transferred from me, and my dad to my oldest sister, and she had them for, I don't know, 30 years. And they rarely ever went. They gave them out to as a bonus to people who worked for their company and friends. But they would go maybe 2 games a year and then give up the other home game tickets. Dallas won the Super Bowl 3 out of 4 years, but not 3 in a row. Yeah, good luck for the Dallas Cowboys at this point. They hired it's Marty Schottenheimer's son, Mitch Schottenheimer. Good luck, Dallas. I'm just really surprised that Jerry Jones didn't want to put up the money to get Deion Sanders, and bring him in as coach. And then, they need a quarterback, bring in his son, Shakir. My dad liked the Giants and loved baseball. So do I. I've always been a huge baseball fan. I will, and everyone in the chat, I want to see the AI commercials. It's hard to tell some of these commercials, and things that are done with AI and done correctly. You wouldn't even know it. Brian Schottenheimer. Is that what they hired Callie Lisa? Well, good luck to them. I mean, the only team that has not hired and replaced their coach right now, that I understand, is the New Orleans Saints. They still don't have a coach, but they say they're going to hire one by the end of February. I want pizza rolls and chips and guacamole and tacos. Yum yum. Lemon pie. Will faked all this out on which is the fake story of the week. Yes, I did. I guess I did. I'm guilty of that. I mean, his dad, Marty Schottenheimer, was a damn good coach. Brian, just hasn't had a good run of luck yet. I mean, but then again, some of the other people have been hired as coaches so far in this off season. You really got to wonder what they're thinking. Like Jacksonville, why did they hire who they hired? But hey, I'm not a billionaire, running a football team. So, and frankly, when it comes down to it, I could really care less. I mean, there are certain teams that I root for, but I used to go to the Kansas City Royals games all the time with my grandma. She was a huge baseball fan, lots of sunburns. Oh, Callie Lisa, you grew up in a Dallas fan, grew up in Dallas. Who shot JR? Kansas City Royals. We went to football games. The only thing my dad ever took me to, like sporting event wise, when I was younger, and after my dad died, we moved over into a suburb of Minneapolis. We moved to a St. Louis Park area, and I went to Vikings games and a whole lot of Minnesota Twins baseball games in the Hubert H. Humphrey Dome, which sucked. If you ever lived on the West Coast and you had you ever went and saw a sporting event in the old Kingdome, the Kingdome was like a dream to those who ever had to go watch a game in the Hubert H. Humphrey Dome. That place was so awful. Even when they first built it, it was, and half of the damn bathrooms didn't work when the place was brand new. But that's all gone now. Now they have Target Field for the baseball, and Minnesota Vikings just built a brand new one, new stadium. I can't remember who they got to sponsor their name, put their name on it. Didn't JR's secretary shoot him? Can't remember. You were a kid? Was it? Was it the secretary? I just every time the Dallas, I'm sure you're all like this too, right? So whenever like a name of a city or a location pops up in my, I see it and I read it in my head, I automatically think, like a crime, or something that no, is it just me that's associated with that city or location? You know, I hear of Los Angeles, California. The first thing I think of when I hear Los Angeles is O.J. Simpson. That's the first thing that pops in my head. I don't even have to think about it. It's like OJ, the slow drive down the freeway in his Ford, Bronco, his white Ford Bronco. I'm automatically. I'm in a million other crimes that have been committed in Los Angeles. I don't think of any of those. I think of the O.J. Simpson, situation, and that slow drive down the freeway of getaway, and New York. The first thing that comes to mind when I hear New York is Robert Durst and him in the disappearance of his first wife. But that's just my mind. Let you in on a little bit of it. I lived in Richardson, Texas. That's cool. My friend who passed away this past year, about 3 months ago now. Yeah, she lived in the Dallas Fort Worth area. Inner P's, I've never heard of Yogi Berra quote. Great. Oh, did you put a Yogi Berra quote in up there? I missed it. Yogi Berra, catcher, comedian, actor. God, did he do a lot after he left baseball? Did a lot while he was actually playing the game too. I gave up watching Dallas when Bobby came back in the shower, and the whole season before was explained away as a dream. Dallas, the TV show. They don't make TV like that anymore, though. I misquoted Yogi Berra. We've had some very interesting people in the history of baseball. They have done some pretty wild stuff. Let's see. Phil Necro got caught with emery board in his pocket, sandpaper, so he could grip the ball better. You had Darryl Strawberry, who admitted after he left baseball, had played so stoned out of his mind he could not even find the stadium that he was supposed to be at, but he played anyways. Darryl Strawberry. Dwight Gooden, played an entire game, and every time he came to the dugout, he walked down into the tunnel and did more. That's just some of them. And then in football, they used to shoot, players up with, everything from Novocaine to muscle relaxants to get them back out on the field. Now they get a little boo-boo and they're out for the season. Out of the Shadows, Junior, I thought Dallas was a great theme song. That's all you remember? Yeah, but they don't make TV shows like that anymore. Now everything is reality TV, and how much shock and awe can you bring into the show? You got to catch the viewer's attention within the first 6 seconds of the show. Otherwise, it's going to be a flop. And it's the same thing for, YouTube too. They call it the hook. You got to put the hook into them right off the bat to draw them in, and then slowly, deal out a little bit of content, and then give them another major part, and then slowly lure them in, keep them, interested. because the longer they watch, the more that your content will be suggested, and through the algorithm. But that's YouTube. It's the same thing. It's not just YouTube. It's YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all of it. Got to nail them, get them pulled in right away. But that's what television is to this day. What is being made out there. We got to get that hook into them. Get the star out there in the first 5 seconds. Start off with them, and then you can tell the story, something else afterwards. Short attention span theater. That's what I call it. Short attention span theater. Reality TV ended the good TV content. I would say that definitely had a large part of it. Yes, I like the new show Tracker. I've never seen it, never even heard of it. Guys, what's it about? Cookie cutter? Oh yeah, lemon pie to a large extent. They know what works. They know audiences will pay to watch or sit and watch, and they just stamp everything out and make it just like that. And you'll see the same if you actually really pay attention to a lot of YouTube creators and people who make longer form content on Patreon. For example, you will see that same cookie cutter thing work along, and then you can watch like Bailey Saren in true crime, and then you can watch a video of, by Mr. Beast, completely different genres and content, but you can see the same aspect of how everything's laid out here is here. Yeah. How's the weather over there today, Will? Right now, Rykar, it is 37 degrees and sunny. Hey. Will, did you put the hook into us for now, groupies? No. See, that's always been my biggest downfall, Gayla. I know how to be successful at this. I know what I need to do to play the game to get to 100,000, a million subscribers. I know exactly what to do and how to do it. I just refuse to do it, and that's the truth. I don't play nice with YouTube all the time. I don't play by their rules, and I refuse to lie and con people into viewing or paying me to be here. That's the truth. It's why I don't throw hey, there's a link on scrolling by every week, like something else that you need to buy. I'm not here trying to tell you to buy this this bottle of lotion because it's the best damn product I've ever seen, especially when they don't even use it in the first place, and I don't. I just feel it'd be disingenuous for me to change who I am just for the algorithm so I can play along and become somebody I'm not. Tracker's about a guy who can track anyone, missing people, criminals, you name it. Ooh, that sounds interesting. I'm going to write that down. Thank you, Ginger. Trackers, it's the name of the show. Some of us creators would rather do what is ethical and honest. That's true. Do you just put a spell on us? No. I think a lot of people tune in because they like the the genuineness of who I am, that I'm not fake, and I make mistakes and I admit them. But he only tracks people who offer reward money. Oh. Well, all you do is put Chris Watts in the title. She's right. I could put Chris Watts in the title, of and then the video could just be, you staring and looking at my stapler for 20 minutes, and that would be it. And it'd probably go viral. Look at this stapler. My gosh, is that a swing line or is that a Western? What kind of stapler is that? And what does Christopher Watts have to do with that stapler? I can see it tomorrow all over the the chat boards. Bloggers would be putting up videos, cutting that out for their thumbnail. What is it with this stapler? How is it connected? Did Christopher Watts use that stapler? Is that his own personal stapler? I have no intention of ever changing, Gayla. I have no choice. I'm going to be me. I hope that really comes through to the viewers out there. I really enjoy what I do. I do. I wish more people would watch and subscribe. I mean, it's really disheartening that only 23% of all viewers, watch. I mean, in 2024, I had 1.6 million viewers. Views. That's unique views. 1.6 million unique views in 2024. And of that, I got 0.001% of people to subscribe. They subscribe, they watch a bunch of content, they, binge watch it, I guess. That's what they call it. And then they're out. They're gone. There's nothing new for them to watch. They're going on to the next one. The lead tracker is eye candy. Oh, is an attractive individual. Is it true you can buy subs from YouTube directly? Not from YouTube directly, Lemon Pie, but you can buy them. I'll let you guys in since you brought it up, Lemon Pie. I'll tell you a little secret about this entire thing. So the first time I became aware of buying subscribers, followers, or anything like that was on back then it was Twitter, and you could go to a company and you give them anywhere from $100 to $10,000, probably even more. They probably take more, they do more, but you could buy actual followers on Twitter. And what caught my attention was someone who I kind of like follow a little bit on Twitter back then. They posted that they were going to make a new account. They told everybody what the name of the account was. He was not going to post any content at all on there other than to see how many people he could buy to become followers. So he did it. This is how I became aware of it. And I didn't think it was real, but he did. And within like a month, he had like 2 million followers on Twitter. So then I just out of curiosity, I looked to see if these things are legit. Google, who owns YouTube, they're basically the same company. You can buy what's called a campaign of followers. What they do is they have bots, computers, that just spam the living crap out of people and say, join this, this follower, blah, 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 and they just spam millions of people. Well, you might get 1,000 people out of 10,000 emails that you send out or messages. Because what they do is they're not only emails, but they'll come to, you'll see them in the comment section on videos. Follow this person and then a link. So what a lot of creators, have turned off so not anybody can just post a link like I do. Only ones I can post a link on my channels are moderators. They're the only ones who are allowed to post links. But you can, for $100, you can start off. I want 1,000 subscribers, and you pay this company $100, and they will get you 1,000 subscribers. If YouTube finds out that you're actually doing it, they will take all of those subscribers away because they find out. Look, they look at the subscriber, they look at the watch content, and they figure it out with their algorithm that this is a fake individual, this is a fake account, and this is a fake subscriber. So then they slowly remove them over time. Likewise, at the same exact time, that you can buy a campaign of followers or people to subscribe to your content. You can buy what's called a campaign of hate, and they're very, very good at what they do. This is all again driven by computers. There's probably a handful of people in the background at each one of these, and Google knows that they're there. And this has not been a secret at all. But you can buy a campaign of terror and hate against someone. And I've had someone actually pay to have this, done to me, and it worked for a large part. But what they do is they not only do they reverse. They don't send out a link to somebody and say you should subscribe to them. They send out an article, an email, their known email addresses of individuals, and it tries to find information for people who are actual subscribers, and it spams them and says, this is the person that you're subscribing to, and it makes up anything and call them a pedophile. Nobody wants to follow a pedophile or be known that they follow a pedophile online or a channel. They make shit up. This person's been convicted of domestic violence like 18 times. And then they will put that in the comments section, and they will go after them on all their other social media that is linked to it. And that's all done by computer, and just like a snap of a finger. You pay $100, they'll do 100 attacks against them, or 1,000 attacks, or whatever it is. But Google and YouTube know that these things are out there. It comes up right on the actual, open a browser right now, another browser window, and type it in, campaign of hate, paid for campaign of hate against TikTok or Instagram, or, and for each and every one, they're companies that cover all of the different platforms, but they're ones that are just that narrow in on YouTube or just on Facebook or just on Instagram or TikTok, and they are, their goal is to drive subscribers away, or or their goal is to drive new subscribers to the content. I've seen them quite a few times, and I've seen other people who have been, viciously attacked, in these methods, particularly in the cosmetics and in the lifestyle, like blogger, whatever you want to call it, on YouTube. That is some of the nastiest stuff I've ever seen. I don't know why anybody would have a comment section if they're in that area at all, because if the people, you have to assume by the names of the people that they're actual people, and they're women who are being absolutely vicious towards another individual because of the way that they look. It is disgusting, but it happens. But you don't really know if these people are real. It could be a bot that's attacking these other people, and then. Why would you want to go somewhere where in the comment section every single day you're attacked by somebody else? And that's what they do, is they like, I don't want to be here with the person attacking me in the comments every day. I'm just going to leave. So they leave. And that is another one. They put a mark over here that they were successful. I have seen a channel that had no content for months gain 3,000 subs in 2 weeks. Yes. I know of a well, he used to be a subscriber. He is still a subscriber of mine, but he is underneath what do they call it, a sock account, which is a fake account, because he doesn't want anyone to follow him anymore, and he almost never comments anymore. But he's been on the opposite end of it, and he's never put out any content on YouTube underneath that name, and he has like 10,000 subscribers. And I think it might, some of that are like people are searching for another channel, and his sock account is close to that name, so people just subscribe to it anyways because they think that might be him, this other creator. A beautiful woman usually has very few female friends. I don't know about that, but it could be true. My wife has a lot of friends, and she's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life. But it happens, though. I mean, I've got a channel I've never put content on at all, and I've got like 3 subscribers. I always wonder who the hell they are. You have to get over 1,000 subscribers before YouTube will actually show you, all the analytics for it. I think you have to. Yeah, I think. Don't hold my word to that, but I think you have to be monetized before they show you all the analytics. But, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap up this morning's stream there. I wish everyone a great day, and I hope to see you tomorrow for trivia night. Again, Pee Wee Gaskin is tomorrow's trivia subject, and I hope that you're able to stop in. Even if you don't want to play along, the chat is open the whole time, and you can just chat along with everybody else like we're doing now. So, but everyone, you have a great day today. Bye.